Hi, I'm Tim, welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you could see it, and you could purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing a larger-than-life Panerai Luminor 1950. This is a Panerai Luminor Marina known as the PAM00422, a Luminor Marina in the 1950 case. It's stainless steel, and launched in 2012, the watch is an extravagant expression of Panerai as both a historic brand and a modern luxury watch purveyor. It has elements of both. With a case design modeled heavily after the 1950s reference 6152, it's exquisitely sculpted in a way the 1990s Panerai Luminors with the Betterini case simply weren't. But it is a large watch, and as you can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, the 57 millimeter lug-to-lug span is a bit beyond me. I wouldn't recommend this watch for a wrist smaller than 17 centimeters circumference. It's also a fairly thick watch, primarily due to a sapphire that's dramatically domed to create the same look of a bubble style plexiglass crystal as vintage Panerai watches would have featured. The watch is 17.5 millimeters thick, but again, a large amount of that is that bubble style sapphire designed to evoke a thermoplastic. You can see that the case flank is actually quite nicely sloped and stepped, so while it won't fit underneath any kind of a dress sleeve, it shouldn't have too much trouble with a jacket cuff. The spacing between the lugs is 26 millimeters, and this being a Panerai watch, you will find a universe of OEM and aftermarket options in that strap size. The standard minimally tanned absolutamente strap is calfskin, and you can see it's rather rustic, and that's by design. Panerai watches from the 1930s through the late 1980s issued to the Italian Navy in all of its forms: Special Forces, General Service, and of course Allied nations. And this strap, more than any other element of the watch, really looks back to that era. It's rough, it's rustic, it shows elements of the original hide. It doesn't have much coloration. There's a little bit of an off-white ecru coloration to the stitch, and you can see how that matches the color of the lume on the dial. We'll talk about that in a moment. There's a simple and traditional satin-finished Panerai trapezoid-style pin buckle that's easy to adjust on the fly and historically true. You can see on the underside it's a more conventional calfskin, and this Austrian handmade strap is a Panerai factory piece in brand new condition with new gouging. I should say no gouging. So jumping back to the case, you can see that it is the 1950 profile. Now the 1950 profile in modern Panerai watches actually debuted with the 127 back in 2002, and at the time it denoted a case size. Now it's really just a profile as we have smaller and smaller 1950 watches. Well, this is the full fat version in 47 millimeters, all of high polish. You can see how much more complex the contouring is than the relatively up and down and square profiled Betterini case Luminors. The device protecting the crown, I know it sounds like something James Bond would use, but in fact it is a crown guard, and so it has a locking lever and a full all-encompassing crescent-shaped guard profile. So unlike a shouldered crown guard, you can't really hit it from any angle. Superior protection, but also superior function. The idea being back in the 1950s that you would not have to continuously thread the crown of a water-resistant watch through its seals over and over to keep winding the movement. By simply fitting a toroidal or donut-shaped seal and then compressing and decompressing the crown, you extended the life of the water resistance of the case. Now you can see in the modern era there's even a little roller bearing inside the cam system. Now it's locked, you have 100-meter water resistance, now it's unlocked. You can wind the watch, you can set the watch, you can even engage some of its fun subsidiary setting modes, such as the 0 reset second system, which not only hacks the movement and stops the balance, but it brings the seconds hand at 9 o'clock straight to the index at 0. Now you can set the watch precisely against a reference time. But there's also an intermediate setting mode, so you have the ability to step the hour hand independently. You can see the minute hand doesn't budge, the watch continues to keep time as the seconds hand is moving along. Now it features a number of iconic forms inside and out. We talked about the device protecting the crown, which by the way also makes it awfully tough to dive or jump in the pool when your watch is open and unsecured. You can accidentally thread out a screw down crown a few threads and not notice it. That is harder to miss, so you're unlikely to drown your watch. The dial is a matte black, and you can see it's of sandwich construction with a fully loomed disc of ecru or tan off-white luminova. That disc then features a stencil on top with the image of the tri-Arabic numerals and the indices, which is why there appears to be a little bit of a depth to the wells on the dial. The name as well as the model engraved deeply on the dial base and quite handsome. There will be a great lume shot at the end of this video. On the case back, this model features a power reserve indicator which preserves the purity of the Luminor Marina dial. 3 hands only, no date, but you get the power reserve indicator. It is a 72-hour twin-barrel manual wind power reserve. The 21 joule movement is a Panerai in-house caliber, and you can see one of the elaborations compared to the original manual wind caliber P3000, the addition of a finger-style train, a nod to the pocket watch era. There is a lateral satin finish across the bridges, as you would have seen on Rolex Codebert pocket watch calibers fitted to vintage Panerai watches, as well as the Angelus SF240 movements fitted to the Panerai combat watches of the 1950s. The beveling is machine executed but handsome. There's an engine turning on the base plate, and the screw heads are polished. The movement beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. You can see that the balance is immense, and that huge moment of inertia helps to resist bump-induced timing deviation. Free-sprung index with a full balance bridge means this watch is highly shock resistant. And again, you can see 100 meters water resistant. This is a timepiece that offers a little bit of everything to everyone who has the wrist to accommodate it. A handsome all-arounder, you can see and you can own the stainless steel Panerai PAM00422 on the watch box. Panerai Luminor Marina 1953 days. This is the PAM00422, fully loomed, all 3 hands and all indices and numerals.